Yes, Chef.
With Ryan.
Every week we bring in our global chef Ryan into the studio with an ingredient or a Korean dish which is usually quite seasonal. Today's ingredient, everything obviously has a name, but this thing has many different names depending on how it is prepared. And what we're probably going to call it for the most part today is hwangtae, based on the dish we're going to talk about. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning, Peter. How are you doing, man?
I'm very well. You have brought in a whole host of scary looking sauces today, Ryan.
Oh, they're not scary. They're delicious.
Yeah, that's one way to describe them as well. Hot sauce fest, but that's not the theme. If you're watching, and if you don't watch Video Radio usually, you should watch it on a Tuesday because we have a camera inside the studio to get a close-up of Ryan looking very dapper, but also the food. That is the show today. Lots of the sauces and then lots of the hwangtae. So that's what we're talking about, hwangtae.
Yeah, you know, there's actually 40 different names or more for this one fish.
In Korean?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Not
40?
in other languages. No other language. I challenge any language to come up with more than 40 different varieties of, you know, drying or freezing or freeze-drying or fresh or blah. I mean, man, most Koreans don't know them all.
I didn't know there was 40.
Even the like major 5 people have a hard time understanding exactly the differences between them.
Okay, can we go through that with our listeners then?
Sure,
wait,
I'd love to.
What is the biggest group name in English for this fish?
Pollock.
Pollock.
Or walleye pollock.
Pollock, okay. Yeah. How is that different, or is it different to cod?
Oh, it is different.
Okay.
They're usually smaller. The cod can have a bigger, wider head. They do look very similar.
Do they taste quite similar fresh as well?
I suppose so. I think the cod flesh is a little softer, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I would describe the difference.
Similar but different, for sure. So pollock is what we're talking about in English. So the 5 main groups that pollock is separated to in Korean then?
Well, let's say, you know, sengtae is the raw, fresh pollock.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's dongtae, which is the one that's been frozen before.
Okay,
but
it's been
still
frozen.
Yeah, it's not been dried or manipulated in any other way.
So if you defrost it, it's still meaty.
Exactly. And that's what you often see in soups here. Yeah. Then you go to what we're talking about today is hwangtae, which that has actually been taken to the area kind of near where the Olympics is going to be.
Oh, around Pyeongchang.
Right. And up in those mountains where the blade wind, as they call it in Korean, cuts through. And that's what you need. You know, when I'm thinking about how rough winter is here, I do take some solace in the fact that you need that winter to make these ingredients. These fish are hung up. And they freeze and thaw for about 40 days or more.
40 days, wow.
And that's how you produce hwangtae. Okay.
And just leaving them outside like that for 40 days and it's done?
Right. And if it rains, then the farmers have to run out there and cover it with plastic. Usually it doesn't rain around there. It'd just be snow. Snow's fine.
That's true.
But they can't get really wet. They have to stay dry.
Yeah.
Then there's, let's see, what we also have today. This, you know, it's funny. This one is anju, or a side dish while drinking.
Yeah.
And then this one's a hangover cure. So if you got these two, you're set. You know,
you just go round in circles.
Yeah, exactly. So,
what is this one called?
Moktae.
Moktae.
Right.
Moktae.
Right.
And how is this different from the hwangtae?
Well, I had to do some research to figure this out.
Yeah.
But it seems to be that when you're making hwangtae, if it does turn a little warm one day, then they'll rescue it and then turn it into moktae.
Oh, I see. So it's kind of along the way of becoming hwangtae.
Right.
You can sometimes get some moktae if you get a warm day.
Also, you could also get godari, which is the half-dried one. So maybe if you get a warm day around then you could take it and freeze it, and then it could be the godari, which is the half-dried pollock.
Which is not as dry as this one.
Exactly.
The moktae.
Yeah.
So wow, I didn't know there were even that many. 5, but you say there's over 40.
There's so many, it's ridiculous.
That's
Sometimes
insane.
when you go to the restaurants, there'll be this whole panel on the wall describing a lot of them.
Yeah.
But they don't even get into, you know, the extra 30 that most folks don't know.
And that's just based based on how they're frozen and dried and that kind of process. Wowzers. So we're doing mainly the kind of dried versions. We're not dealing with the fresh or the frozen today. Right. In the soup as well is, like you said, the hwangtae.
Yeah.
And the moktae. Why don't we... what should we start off with? The Hangover Cure, or what gives you a hangover when you have it with alcohol? I don't know.
Well, go ahead, man. Try this. What I've done here is you get the whole fish. I mean, the head, everything, skin on. You kind of open it up and you pull out this dried flesh. Yeah. Kind of shred it into a hot pan. Some people will just hold it right over a hot grill or burner. But this was put into a really hot pan, which dries it even more and gives it a little bit more golden brown color on the edges. You
can just eat it straight away, right? You don't need to put it on the pan or anything.
Oh, I think you should probably put it on the pan.
Oh, really?
I don't think it would hurt you otherwise, but that's the way it's always done. Yeah.
To dry it out a bit more, crisp it up.
Check out the texture on this. It's really cool.
With no
really
sauce,
fun.
Okay? Just straight up.
I know you can hear that on the radio. The way
it's like a crisp almost, like a potato chip or something, you know?
The healthiest kind of crisp you could possibly have.
And and then it just kind of flakes away. So that is completely unseasoned, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's just
all natural.
And that doesn't taste too bad at all. Like if you want something healthy, that's brilliant, right?
Loaded with protein because it's all been dehydrated, right? So it's like dense protein.
Yeah.
And they also talk about other ingredients that are in these, like I'm not sure how to pronounce it actually, but methionine or methionine or something.
What does that do?
Well, it detoxifies your liver, and that's why everybody talks about this being a hangover cure. But it's in this as well.
So there's some scientific background to that.
Always.
I thought it was just maybe an old wives' tale or something like that. But there is some basis to having this as a hangover cure. We talked about it earlier when I was previewing it. It's a popular breakfast dish after you've been out for a night drinking. Warms up your stomach as well, which is why you often have a soup. This is delicious. So in terms of the sauce that we're going to dip it in, this is, well, is it mayonnaise plus...
I had to make some mayonnaise for you.
You made it?
I made the mayonnaise, then chopped fresh garlic, then the spicy or green chilies in Korea, the choyangochu, and then some soy sauce over the top.
Wow.
And it is awesome.
How easy is a mayonnaise to make? I know many chefs say it's not too bad.
Oh, it's so easy. Especially if you use a food processor like I did.
That is the most delicious mayonnaise, chili, garlic combination I've ever had.
These are awesome.
But that sauce is so good. So these are great by themselves, but when you have it with a sauce, it just makes it like 10 times better.
And you might, in a Korean restaurant, usually that serves maybe makgeolli, the fermented rice wine, or other beverages. This is the kind of common thing. It's more of an old school kind of deal, I think. Yeah. You know, but you can still find
it's
them
coming
today.
back, I think, into fashion.
Yeah, maybe.
As a cheaper side dish as well, because it's not expensive, that moktae.
From a kitchen perspective, a restaurant kitchen perspective, it's brilliant because you'll have zero waste, really.
Yeah.
This stays in the freezer. And then, you know, mayonnaise and garlic and the chilies, that's a really cheap thing to keep around.
Sure.
So you're not really wasting anything. If you had a fresh fish around and it doesn't get sold, it goes out, right? So
this can keep for a long time, right?
And it's so easy to prepare too, really quick. So
could you just quickly tell us how to make a mayonnaise, Ryan?
Yeah, sure, no problem. I like to use organic eggs, not just because they're organic, but because they're so much more rich.
Really?
Yeah, the yolks are really super rich. In Korea, we're lucky we have these amazing rich eggs. Anyway, that's going to be spicy. You got the choice.
That's all right. The mayonnaise is
if you just put maybe one egg, the ratio will kind of scare you as to what mayonnaise is. But, you know, with one egg, you're talking about, you know, a cup and a half of oil.
A cup and a half?
Yeah,
what kind of oil?
Maybe 2 cups.
Is it important?
Well, if you wanted to make an aioli, then you're talking about olive oil. If you would just want a plain mayonnaise, then I like to use organic grapeseed oil or sunflower seed oil.
Right.
Those work really well.
That is okay.
Yeah, usually an oil that has less flavor works the best.
Yeah.
But then you need a little acid too. You need
a lemon juice?
A lemon juice, maybe a white wine vinegar.
Ooh.
Definitely some salt.
Yep.
And if you have a food processor, not a blender, but a food processor, it'll really whip that and emulsify it so quickly without having to use the whisk.
Okay,
But,
not a blender, a mixer.
A food processor, which has the bigger blade, you know,
that just goes
and
round and round.
it just really whips it up. And if it's too thin, keep adding oil, and it'll probably thicken right up.
And you just put them all in together. You don't need to separate the eggs or any nonsense like that.
Well, normally if you're doing it with a whisk, you have to drizzle the oil in to get a proper emulsification. But when you're using a food processor, there's so much power. That blade is going so quickly that you can actually add all your ingredients in and then hit that button, and it will emulsify all of it into a thick. I mean, this is a pretty thick mayo.
It's delicious as well, Ryan. We haven't even got to the main event, which is the hangover soup, the Huang Te Tang, right? So this is also, it's not too difficult to make because my mum taught me, and I've made it a good few times in Korea. Can you run us through how to make this?
Sure, I'd love to. It's one of my favorite hangover cures or just foods in Korea. Again, you find this really often up near where the Olympics is going to be this year. That area in the mountains is famous for this.
It's all covered in egg at the moment. That's why people might be confused looking at this, right?
Yeah, you blend up an egg at the end and drop it in. But what you're going to start with is the same thing that you start with on so many Korean soups, and that's the kelp broth, where you use the dried myeolchi or like sardines. Those go in with some radish or the big moo, the Korean radish, like a daikon radish. I'll use a few dried shiitake mushrooms, and then the dashima, the kelp, the dried kelp that goes in to make that broth.
And you just boil that up for a little while.
Boil that up, then you discard those ingredients, keep the broth, and then in that broth you're going to drop more radish, but cut into the pieces that you want, the size pieces that you want to have, like this.
Yeah,
right
a big
here.
chunky one.
And just regular onion, like a yellow onion or white onion.
Yeah.
That adds a lot of sweetness. The moo adds a lot of natural MSG, that flavor enhancer that people love so much.
It's so sweet through that. Yeah.
It is really sweet. Yeah. And then, of course, your huangtae, which is the dried, the one that's frozen and thawed, frozen and thawed, frozen and thawed over and over again. And you want to look for one that's not super yellow, but kind of just a little tinge of yellow. That means that it's dried properly.
A little kind of browny.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then you just drop that in.
You drop that in, and sometimes they could be a little bit chewy in there, but they flavor the broth so well. The soup, I don't feel, is really about the fish pieces itself, but about the broth more.
That's right. Sometimes some fussy eaters don't even eat the huangtae. You're missing out if you do that. But the huangtae in there, like you said, you drop the egg at the end and whisk it all up, so it sometimes covers the huangtae, like in this case. It's really soft, actually, today. Sometimes you can get, you're right, the really chewy bits with bones in as well.
Of course, I brought you a special one.
It's delicious, Ryan.
Of course.
And what my mum used to do, I don't know if this is common, but she would first, instead of getting the broth like that, she would fry the huangtae in a bit of soy sauce and oil, and just make it a bit fried. It gives it an extra depth of flavour, and then just pour in some water. Yeah, and it would be delicious too.
A little soy sauce does go in here, a little bit of toasted sesame oil, definitely a chopped up spicy chili goes in there. I put a few little red chili flakes as well. But it's, as far as soups go, or Korean soups go, it's one of the more simple ones.
And one that I think many people would be okay eating. It's not scary in any way. It's not spicy. Right. The ingredients are not strange or unfamiliar. It's amazing. And that, not just for a hangover soup, but just for a soup with rice. Lovely in the winter, isn't it? What we're going to do maybe after the song break today, something a little special, is we'll have some of the mocktail with the spicy sauces. Do a little bit of a challenge because you brought in so many today, Ryan, including some from Portugal that Marine sent.
Yeah, they're really good. Piri piri, if you've never had piri piri sauce, it's amazing. So thank you so much again for sending these. I've been enjoying them. You can see I've eaten a lot of both of these already.
Nice. We'll do a little challenge after the song break. This is Girls' Day. I'll be yours. We're back for part 2 of Yes Chef with Ryan in the studio. We have got a spicy sauce fest going on here. It's amazing. These are some sauces that you got as a gift from Marine in Portugal, and the others that you've been fermenting, and you're going to be selling these soon, right, on the market?
That's right. Yeah, I'm really excited about these. We're finally getting bottles done up, and yeah, we're going to do this chili cook-off this weekend. I'm going to bring them there.
Oh, nice.
Let people try them. And
wow.
We're just really trying to cover our expenses on the farm. It's not like a real profitable business yet, but it's a lot of fun. People are really enjoying these, so I hope I hope I don't torture you too badly, and
Not
I hope
at all.
you like them.
I'm ready. And most of the ingredients in these are from the farm.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow, that's so cool, isn't it, Ryan? Yeah. So we've got a little palette here of spicy sauces. It looks like I should get my paintbrush out or something.
That's it.
These could be used as a paintbrush and then an edible one afterwards. So let's give it a try. This is the spicy one.
Don't start with that one.
Don't start with that one.
Yeah.
Okay, really.
We didn't send this awesome, extra hot piri piri. I want you to start with a less spicy one. Start with this piri piri. That's
This one.
really nice.
This
yeah.
one.
That's
Okay.
a garlic piri piri.
Okay.
Again, that's from Portugal. It's got a really nice flavor
Oh,
to it.
it's really garlicky. I love garlic. That's really tasty.
I think it's about 50% garlic. I was all reading the...
It's not too spicy at all, just a little kick, but the garlic flavour is really nice. See, this mocktail is brilliant as like a kind of blank palette, isn't it? You
perfect.
just dip it in any sauce.
It has this really fun texture after you put it in the hot pan and really crisp it up a bit.
You're right, you can't see how it crumbles in your mouth, but if you break it like that, it kind of flakes around. Yeah, it's amazing. This one is one of yours, is it, Ryan?
Yes, that is one that's... I haven't given it a name yet, but it's full of cilantro.
Wow, that's
hot?
a kick.
You all right?
I hate cilantro, but I can't really taste... Oh, yeah, I can see the undertones. In a spicy sauce, that cilantro tastes better.
I should have brought a bottle of water in for you.
It is
to
pretty
go
hot.
with this.
No, I've got a drink over here. It's all right. Okay. And then some of these more colourful ones.
This has got beetroot in it, which is kind of unusual for a hot sauce.
Yeah.
We fermented the peppers with the beetroot. And these are all kinds of different peppers from all over the world that we're growing on the farm.
Okay, I hate beetroots as well. You can tell how fussy I am now, but let's try a hot sauce with
I
it
think
in
you'll
it.
like it.
Wow. It's really... Is that what a beetroot tastes like? Because I don't eat beets at all.
The natural
it's kind of
sweetness,
fruity.
the natural sweetness that you're getting there. Some of the fruitiness comes from the peppers, but the natural sweetness you're getting there is from the beetroot.
That's really good. Okay.
Mocktail. Mocktail is delicious.
It's perfect. I want some more of that mayonnaise. But before I do that, I'm going to try Marine's really super hot one, okay?
All
I
right.
think I can handle it just
Go
about.
easy.
Is it way more spicy than your one?
It hits you faster.
Okay.
The heat's more on the front end. Boom. How you doing there, buddy?
Wow.
Oh, I see his eyeballs glazing already.
Your tongue is on fire, and it like spreads all around your mouth.
Yeah.
Wow,
Well,
Marine.
this one has cocoa powder in it, and it's a little sweeter, so it might calm down. that
As
spice.
in what's in chocolate?
I'm calling it mole.
Uh-huh.
It's really interesting, isn't it?
That's lovely. Right,
kind of
these
like-
are amazing.
They're really diverse, too.
I need some more mocktail because my mouth is on fire. Wow. Okay, I'm going to start sweating profusely now. But, Marine, when on earth in Portugal do you eat that sauce? Like, for pleasure, I wonder. This is delicious. We're talking all about pollock, right? That's how we can universally call this. But
Right.
mocktail here, huangtail here in the soup. Really delicious. We've got a couple of messages
Peter's nose is sweating.
that I'm going to read out or attempt to read out from Annie and Siska. Annie says, I believe I've not eaten pollock before. I've eaten preserved salted fish, but I think this pollock is not preserved and salted, right? I'm curious about the taste and texture.
Not salted at all.
So is there a version then that is salted? No, I don't think
There
so.
must
right?
be, but
Yeah.
I've not seen it yet.
Not a popular one, at least, right? And I've seen on variety shows that people use the pollock to beat the feet of the groom. Is it pollock that they use? It is a dried fish of some sort.
Probably.
Which is a kind of stag do or bachelor party ritual here
Right,
in
it
Korea.
must be because, well, you see them sometimes above doorways in businesses.
Yes.
Some people put them in the trunk of their car.
For good luck
good
and
luck,
prosperity.
right.
You're right. The company I used to work for, they got like a dried pollock mold and made like a golden statue kind of thing, a golden like thing that they put on their desks. It was really weird because it's not a pretty fish when it's dried.
Well, it keeps for so long, so I guess maybe, we talk about in the West, you always have to have a bag of salt in the house for good luck, right?
Okay, yeah.
And maybe that's kind of the similarity, you always have something in case you need it.
The longevity, the emergency in case of a disaster or something. Siska from Indonesia says, Morning, Ryan. Whoa, peri-peri sauce. So nice of Marine. Peter, can you eat it? I can. It is like fire sauce for me as well, Siska. My nose is really sweating. Anyway, I don't know if we have pollock fish here or not. I can't get a translated name, but if I see the picture, I might know it. We usually grill it as a fish satay. That sounds nice. Or deep fry it till extremely crunchy and we eat the bone. Yeah, in England as well, pollock is not a common fish that I've heard of often. We do eat a lot of cod, a lot of plaice as well.
It's because Korea's buying it all up.
Maybe, and drying it all to
Supposedly
themselves.
Koreans eat on average like 7 per year per person.
Really? Pollocks?
So.
That's amazing.
Whole fish.
Marine says your mayonnaise sauce looks really yummy, Ryan.
Well, thank
it
you.
does have a delicious aspect. Que maravilla, Peter. Try the piri-piri sauce from Portugal. I'm sure you'll love it. I need the mayonnaise to cool
He
things
did
down.
try it,
I've
and
got
his
to
nose
say.
is still sweating a little bit.
All right, that's good. That's a nice
Muito
cooling
obrigado.
aspect of the mayonnaise. So, if you want to check this video out, if you've missed a bit, then you can see it on YouTube. It will be uploaded there in the next couple of days. If you're watching on YouTube, then make sure you tune into our show, #DailyK. We talk all about Korea and its culture, not just the food, every single day from 9 a.m. here on Arirang Radio. Wow. Okay.
I'm sorry, Peter. I can hear it in your voice that I've attacked you a little too much with these.
No, it's okay.
I'm going to blame Marine.
Yeah, let's just blame Marine. She's far away. She can deal with it. Wow. It's so delicious, though. You know that, though, spicy foods, they sometimes are a bit painful. You know, sometimes you will sweat, but it's addictive.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That kind of pain for some reason.
Well, it releases endorphins, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Makes you happy.
It's pleasure and pain
Makes you
all
happy.
mixed up in one.
Makes you feel good.
Exactly. That's good enough for me. What have we got in your fridge for our listeners today?
Well, we got Audrey here with boneless quail, Swiss dried beef, oyster mushrooms, spinach, sweet peppers, tomatoes, turnip, potatoes, ginger, clementines, kiwis, bananas, eggs, fresh pastas, some cheese, and single cream.
Boneless quail.
That's what I got to start with.
Of course. When, where, and how do you
Lovely.
get quail? Is it good?
Lovely. I don't know how, man, it must be hard work to debone a quail. I've never
It's quite
tried.
small, isn't it?
I like to eat the bones.
Of a
That's going to
quail?
make me sound horrible, but
Can
the bones are
you?
the best part.
Seriously?
Yeah, the Chinese do it all the time, and
Wow.
if you go to one of these lamb skewer places,
Yeah.
they might have mechuri or quail, and
Really?
definitely bite the bone. They're the best part.
As in you can have it on the skewer and put it over the
Yeah, they put it on
coals?
2 skewers, and
Yeah.
it's kind of it's just cut down and opened up, and so it lays over there and grills up, and it's so good.
And the bones are completely chewable and edible.
Yeah, they're really small quail, so it's
Amazing.
super easy. Yeah. With that boneless quail, Audrey, oh my goodness! Last year I did a event where we stuffed, not boneless, but we stuffed a fig wrapped with like prosciutto inside of each quail and then tied it up.
Wow.
So that's where my mind's going. But with these other ingredients, I guess, let's see. Quail and fruit, not the banana, but maybe the kiwi and the clementine. Let's go more winter seasonal here. So let's do the ginger. Okay. You're missing, you've got different ingredients that go in different directions, but I don't know how I'm going to put them all together. Maybe let's go away from stuffing it. Let's go ahead and with the boneless quail, you could roast that off so nicely. Sear it, roast it, and then let's make a sauce or some side dishes or accompaniments for it. Maybe with the spinach and the oyster mushrooms. A potato mash to go underneath the quail.
Oh,
and then
mashed potato.
Let's get a sauce going somehow using those clementines. I'm assuming you must have some butter around, of course.
Of course,
if
in
there's
France.
not too much of a butter shortage still going on over there.
Really? Was there a shortage?
Yes, apparently.
Oh,
wow. A butter crisis. Can you imagine having a butter crisis in
That would be a
France?
big crisis in
What would you
France with your baguettes, yeah.
But yeah, you could do a simple. I would just melt down the butter, but don't do the roux. Get a little bit of butter, the clementines, and then maybe a little acid in there, something like a white wine vinegar, and plenty of black pepper, and and just whisk that vigorously, and it'll emulsify a little bit. It won't really thicken, but it'll emulsify a little bit, and it's just a really nice sauce that you could put over that quail.
That sounds good. Oh, yeah. I've never had quail before. Is there some meat on there to eat?
Yes, of course. In Texas, I would always go to this place with my family, and my brother and I would split this dish because it had 2 quail on it.
Wow.
And we were kids, and we each got one, and it was enough for us, and we loved it because they gave us this butter sauce to just dip each piece in. But yeah, you do have to kind of pick at them a little bit. The legs only, like 1/5 the size of a chicken leg or something like
a chicken wing almost. Does it taste like chicken? What does it taste? Does it taste
No,
gamey?
it's definitely dark. It's all dark meat, like a duck is.
Yeah.
Really, really awesome. Just heartier. I don't like that word gamey because it puts a bad
you're right.
flavor in most people's mouths. But these most quail are really, really good. I have some that people have hunted.
Wow.
And then yes, okay, you get the gaminess, right? Because they're eating totally different diets.
I see. To the farm-fed ones. Is it easy to get quail in Korea?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out because quail eggs are everywhere.
That's true.
But quail is kind of hard to find. I've never seen fresh quail yet here. I've seen frozen plenty of times, but they're often imported. So I'm trying to figure out where are all these quail laying all these quail eggs.
It's amazing. Maybe there's one mother somewhere, who knows, who's being worked to the bone. You got another one there, right?
Yes, from Marine in Portugal. In her fridge, she has marmalade, kiwi, mandarins, bananas, hazelnut, cocoa butter, red fruits jam, cream cheese, yogurt, milk, and eggs. You have just nothing but sauces and fruit, and there's no proteins here. So let's make some kind of jam spread thing that you could maybe put onto bread.
Oh yeah, homemade jam spread. That sounds nice.
Let's see. Or I could have you make a marinade that you could use next time you get some protein in the house. Mandarins. Man, that's mandarin oranges are a lot like the Kyul that we have here, right?
Yeah.
Really delicious. You can cook those down. You could add in some of the fruit jam, some of the marmalade, cook it all down, add a little bit of the sugar. You're going to make a combined kind of fruit compote. And then that, along with your cream cheese, is awesome on any kind of bread for breakfast.
A fruit compote, sometimes with just some thick cream. That's nice together, like a yogurt or something.
Whip up the cream really well. Get a really nice, rich, heavy cream and whip it up thick. Throw in a little sugar.
Wow.
If you're whipping cream, you just put ice in a bottom bowl and then put the bowl over the top. Add in your cream, add in a little sugar, and just whisk it. And it doesn't really take that much exercise.
What does the ice do? Just keep it nice
the
and
colder
firm.
temperature helps it whip up faster. You're trying to beat air into it. A lot of people will stir. You don't want to stir. You want to pop it. So you're pushing air into the cream.
And that makes it more fluffier and increase in volume. That's lovely, Ryan. Can we do one from last week that we didn't get to, Ryan?
Oh, sure. Let's put in Indonesia. We've got last week. I hope this is still in your fridge. That would be frustrating if we carrots, eggs, cheddar, vanilla ice cream, mangoes, garlic, dates, white tofu, tempeh, the Indonesian fermented soybean, and lemon soda and root beer. My goodness.
Wow, a root beer.
What on earth am I going to do with this? Let's see. Vanilla ice cream, mangoes, garlic. Okay, I've got kind of a crazy idea, but you're going to need a couple of other ingredients. Have you ever had, maybe we talked about this before, have you ever had cheddar cheese apple pie?
No, I don't think we've talked about this cheese apple pie.
I must have been talking about it with somebody else recently. Apple pie's been on the brain because the holidays are coming up. And you can put a nice cheddar cheese into the crust of the apple pie.
Wow.
And
that's not an abomination.
It sounds crazy.
It
sounds crazy. But quality cheddar cheese, is just an amazing ingredient to use. And in that apple pie, it works magic. The salt pairing in the crust, and then all the sugar and the apples, and there's a little hint of vinegar on those apples too. So that sourness, it all comes together so well. Wow. Okay, and I don't see apples here, but I wonder if you could do it with the mangoes. Make a mango pie. Okay? You could even put a little bit of the lemon soda on the mangoes as your kind of acid citrusy thing going on. All right. And then because you have vanilla ice cream, after you...
with some ice cream.
First, you got to make the pie crust.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, these ingredients aren't listed on here, but it's just flour and butter and a little bit of salt. That's all you need. And you make this pie crust. You want to use a blender or mixer or cold hands, or make sure that the butter is really, really cold. Mix it into the flour. Take your cheddar cheese, cut it up into tiny pieces, mix that in there as well.
Into the crust.
Add a tiny bit of water, like a tablespoon of water at a time, or a teaspoon at a time, just until that dough comes together just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then that is your crust for the pie.
With the cheese in there.
In there, yes. And then the mangoes, you can just slice them up, throw a little bit of the lemon soda on there, plenty of sugar, definitely a little more butter as well. Okay, and that goes into your pie filling. You can do the pie cover, you know, and you can do the trellis, you know, that
would look good,
where you weave the pieces, and then that goes in the oven for usually about 40 minutes or so. It gets golden brown on the top, and it'd be a mango cheddar pie. I might be crazy on this idea. I might not. I would love it, Poopit, if you make this, and let me know how it turns out.
Absolutely. Mango in a pie. That sounds like it would go well. The flavour of mango is just unreal, isn't it? Oh, love it. Ryan, thank you so much for coming in today. A couple of last messages to read here. Siska says, happy to see Peter is enjoying today's food. I keep munching the mocktail. It's so good with the mayonnaise. I love your mayonnaise,
You didn't get all the way around the palate on the sauces,
I did get to that one, which is also very spicy.
You tried that one?
Yeah, a big kick in it. Siska says, it makes me want to eat it, but I still can't eat spicy food now. I need to watch my food for my stomach. Yeah, if it's a bit sensitive, stay away from the spice. And Maureen says, well done, Peter. You did well tasting one of the hottest piri-piri sauces here in Portugal. Good job, Chef Ryan. You can blame me as much as you want. Sorry, Peter, but you were so brave tasting them all. High five. Yes, imaginary high five, Maureen. Ryan, thank you so much for these. I'm going to buy some of these sauces off you right now. I've got to have some for my fridge. And we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. We're going to play some Let Me Spoil You, New Kid. This is Will You Be Ma? 소년이 사랑할 때.